Hey everybody, welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to preview the 20th anniversary UFC card, which is officially titled UFC 167, right? 167. This happening this Saturday, November 16th. And it's a pretty good card. You got a lot of welterweight fights going on this card. You got Josh Koscheck versus Tyron Woodley. You got Rory McDonald, who's supposed to be the future of the division, fighting Ruthless Robbie Lawler, who's a veteran, been in the UFC. I think this is his second run in the UFC. And then the two fights that we're going to discuss tonight are Rashad Evans versus Chael Sonnen in a battle of very good wrestlers. And then we have the title fight for the welterweight championship of the world, which is George St-Pierre versus Johnny Hendricks. Starting off with Chael Sonnen and Rashad Evans. Go ahead.
All right, so Rashad Evans is probably, maybe behind John Jones, one of the most athletic guys in the UFC. Not only is he athletic and explosive, but he's also a great wrestler. And I mean, the guy is extremely strong, and if you looked in this fight with Rampage Jackson and I want to say Machida.
Well, he lost that fight.
No, I'm sorry. It's someone else that I'm thinking of. I can never.
Phil Davis?
Phil Davis. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Phil Davis. He showed his wrestling pedigree because Phil Davis is known as a great wrestler. I think he just bit off more he could chew with a veteran.
Oh, yeah, he manhandled Phil Davis.
Yes, and Phil Davis is no slouch. But he's up against a great wrestler in Chael Sonnen.
Yeah.
And which is strange because we don't get to see two wrestlers that often. So you might see some good technical aspects to the fight, but I just think Rashad has more tools at his disposal. He has shown an explosive right hand. He put Chuck Liddell to sleep with it. So if he's at 100%, I really don't see it going past. I don't really see it going to decision. I mean, Chael Sonnen usually has a tendency to make a mistake at the wrong time.
Yeah.
He has Tony Romo moments.
Well, I don't think he's been knocked out. I know he's been submitted a great deal amount of times. Anderson Silva stopped him, but I don't think it was, that was a knee to the chest. He hasn't been hit in the face and be like, oh, he's hurt. Because if you ever notice, Chael Sonnen has a huge dome.
Very big.
And the guy's got a hell of a chin. I mean, honestly, when I first started watching Chael Sonnen, I couldn't stand him. I was like, this guy needs to shut up. I don't know what's it. But as I watched him more and more, he's actually really good at what he does. And what he does is he puts immense amount of pressure on you. He makes you fight every single second of every round. And he just happens to have the best mic skills of anyone in the UFC or in mixed martial arts, period. He's like the Rock of the MMA.
And
like,
just twice as offensive.
Yeah, and that makes people want to not like him. So what he does well. But like you said, I don't think he has enough of the tools in the toolbox to outfox Rashad Evans in this fight. It's probably not going to be an aesthetically pleasing fight for the casual fight fan, whereas there's going to be a lot of jockeying for position.
Mm-hmm.
The takedowns will happen, but I don't think either one will be able to keep each other down for long because they're both very good wrestlers. And you might see a lot of switches and passes and things like that, escapes and various forms of takedowns, but as far as like thrown punches and elbows and stuff, you might not see a lot of those.
I think if anyone's going to push the envelope with stand-up, it's going to be Rashad Evans. He has faster hands. He has the more explosive feet. And to be honest, he's still a veteran in the 205 division, while Chael has had to come up from 185. Not to say he's a small guy and he's weak, because he's definitely not weak. And if you watch his fights, he can definitely take anyone down. I just think coming up to fight a guy who has to come down to 205, and even for the Ultimate Fighter, as a heavyweight, I just think the strength advantage goes to Evans at this point. I mean, I don't know if you've seen his legs, but dude has some powerful legs, and I think on the takedown wise, he may have the advantage. The strength advantage is that athleticism is his. Chael is going to have to outthink Rashad Evans. And I mean, he's going to have to use every tool in his wrestling toolbox and apply some jiu-jitsu if he's on his back in order to defeat Rashad. I just don't think he has the tools to beat him.
Yeah. So let's move on to the main event, which is George St-Pierre versus Johnny Hendricks. And this one we have the typical power puncher versus the technical savant matchup. Johnny Hendricks, he is a very good wrestler. He was an Oklahoma State Cowboy. I think he was an All-American as a wrestler. And then you have GSP, who does everything exceptionally well. I forgot to mention Johnny Hendricks has a killer left hand out of the southpaw stance. And if you watch any of the commercials, all you see is highlights of him knocking people out. Unfortunately, the people he knocked out aren't on the same level as George St-Pierre.
By no means.
And George St-Pierre has, while he hasn't had a wrestling background, he learned it during MMA. I believe he came from a full contact karate background. But he's out wrestled the likes of Matt Hughes, BJ Penn, Matt Serra, Josh Koscheck. The list goes on. I mean, you put him in front of him, he beats him. And if you only have one or two tools to go into the cage, the octagon against him, I don't think it's going to be enough. And if your only chance is to land a home run shot, and everyone knows that's your only chance, I don't see this fight being too pretty if you're a big rig fan.
Now, while I expect St-Pierre, I expect GSP to just utterly dominate this fight. The only thing that I don't like about GSP, and it's very little that I don't like about GSP, is that he's a nice guy. He's very respectable, he's a nice guy, but he doesn't finish people the way you want to see them be finished. Which always gives anyone a chance to take you out. You could be here and he could be here. If you're not taking him out, he's taking you out once the chance presents itself. And as we saw with Anderson Silva, anyone can get clipped, and that's night-night.
Right. So expect GSP to work off that jab, because if he has that jab going, which he has a very excellent jab, like Anderson Silva, those guys have outstanding jabs, which offsets a lot of those guys' power. We should see a pretty dominant performance, and GSP continue his reign as the welterweight champion of the world.
That's right.
All right, guys, that's all we got for you today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like this video. Please share this video with your friends. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page, Capital Combat on Facebook. Search it, it'll pop up. We got a logo being made as we speak, so right now it's just a little picture of a TV box. Don't matter. Just click like anyway. You'll get all our updates, all our videos, anything else we decide we want to post up there, you'll see it. And make sure you leave some comments.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And for those who don't really do Facebook, if you go to our YouTube channel, we also have a Google Plus page. And we're new to Google Plus. We don't use it as much, but it is on there, and it definitely has a list of all our videos.
Yeah, it's kind of on there by default. But hey, we like it. You should like it too. Go to the Google Plus page. That's all we got for you again. So remember to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming at cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick crime, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.